We've been impressed by VIOFO's dash cams over the years, as they offer the features you want at a sensible price. Take the A129 Pro and the A129 Plus for example, a couple of the best 4K and 2K dash cams on the market, and both half the price of other similarly spec'd models. And their latest triple dash cam T130 is no different. But hey, didn't VIOFO just launch their A139 3-channel dash cam not that long ago? So two 3-channel dash cams from the same manufacturer. What's the deal? Let's find out. The VIOFO T130 front unit, which houses a 2K QHD front camera and a 1080p Full HD interior camera. Connect the rear camera to the front unit using the included 6-meter Type-C connecting cable. Simultaneously monitoring the front, inside, and rear of your car, the T130 uses advanced Sony and OmniVision sensors to help cover the whole road and watch over in-cabin activity. Here are the specs on the front camera. We've got a Novatech 96670 processor, 5-megapixel Sony Starfish image sensor, 140-degree field of view, and 2K QHD at 30 frames per second resolution. For the interior camera, an OmniVision nine-cell image sensor, 4 built-in LEDs, 165-degree field of view, and 1080p Full HD resolution at 30 frames per second. And the rear camera, a 2-megapixel Sony Starfish IMX307 image sensor, 165-degree field of view, and 1080p Full HD resolution at 30 frames per second. If you're familiar with VIOFO dash cams, you will see that the T130 uses the same front camera image sensor and processor as the A129 Plus. The Sony Starfish IMX335 image sensor is said to be the best compromise between resolution and sensitivity of any mid-range dash cam. So how is the T130 different from the A139? Well, it all lies in the interior IR camera. First of all, the IR camera comes as a separate unit on the A139, whereas on the T130, it's all built into the front unit. This does make it simpler to install as you have one less camera and one less cable to deal with, but it also limits placement options. For instance, you might be accustomed to hiding the dash cam behind your rear view mirror so it is out of your line of sight. But with the T130, it's a bit trickier. Because the IR camera is built into the front unit on opposite sides but approximately the same viewing plane, mounting it right behind your rearview mirror would mean that the IR lights are hitting the mirror and the roof of the vehicle and bouncing it back into the camera lens. This ultimately can make it difficult for the camera to tell if it's day or night, thus affecting the interior IR video quality. So it is important that you mount the T130 at a position where the rearview mirror and ceiling are not in the frame, which might mean it could potentially get into your line of sight. Luckily, the interior camera is rotatable, so you can certainly adjust to get that perfect view. Also, the interior camera can only rotate in one direction. It works perfectly in left-hand cars, allowing you to record out of the driver's side window. For right-hand cars, the camera will need to be mounted upside down if you want to be able to record out of the driver's side window. This shouldn't be a huge problem since there is an option in the app to rotate the images. The T130's interior camera sports the same OmniVision image sensor as the A129 Plus dual IR interior camera. Both of these also sports 4 built-in LEDs, unlike the 6 that we find in the A139 interior cam. The OmniVision OS02C10 uses nine-cell NIR technology. This image sensor has been proven to be 2 to 4 times better than other image sensors when you're using it with infrared LEDs for nighttime recording. In other words, if you're looking for a reliable interior camera for your nighttime recording, then we definitely recommend something with an OmniVision image sensor. Just like the A129 Plus and the A139, there are 4 bitrate settings that you get to choose from with the T130. Here's what you need to know. For the bitrate settings, you get to choose from H.264 low, normal, high, or maximum. Here's a comment from Sierra, who commented on our previous VIOFO A139 3-channel video. I have 5% tint on my back windshield. Hopefully it'll still be clear. I'm looking into purchasing the Blackview dashcam. Then I saw this 3-channel. I've been researching for a few months now. Still can't decide just yet. Great video, very informative. Here's some sample footage from the T130 rear cam that we have mounted on a car with tinted rear windows. Note that the higher bitrate that you choose, it's also going to increase the size of your video files as well. Lower bitrate, obviously that means you get to store more onto your micro SD card. One thing to note is that the T130 also does allow for the H.265 recording as well. Like the A129 Plus and the A139, this H.265 feature is hidden. So to enable it, you will need to stop recording and hold the mic button to make the switch. With the incorporated IR camera on the T130, it does mean you're physically dealing with 2 cameras instead of 3, which is great. Now, with the USB-C cables that come with the T130, it is going to be slightly thicker compared to the mini coaxial cables that you get with the A139. For power options, the VIOFO now has a new HK4 hardwiring kit for the T130. Now, if you look closely at the hardwiring kits, the HK4 is going to be quite similar, almost identical to the HK3. The only difference is that the HK4 now comes with a 90-degree connector compared to a straight connector that we found on the HK3. In other words, if you're upgrading from the VIOFO A139 to the T130, you can still use the HK3 hardwiring kit from the A139. All you gotta do is swap out the cameras. One of the issues with all 3 channels, especially those with front and interior cameras built into the same casing, is overheating. The VIOFO T130 is a compact camera, and we do expect it to generate quite a bit of heat. It's been reported that the T130 has the same overheating issues as the A139 and will shut down prematurely. When we did our own testing, we ran into the issue of the T130 jumping between the 2-channel and 3-channel recording. Turns out, if the power supply is not providing enough power for the camera, or if the camera is starting to overheat, it will start dropping channels, starting with the rear camera. The insufficient power issue seems to resolve itself once we use the included power cable instead of the multi-port USB 12-volt adapter. In terms of the overheating, the mount does hold the T130 camera a bit further from the windshield glass. This makes us wonder if that would help with heat dissipation, and thus cooling might be better than the A139. Also, if you look closely at the front side of the camera, you will see a heat dissipation block. There is a label next to it and a warning in the user manual not to touch it when the camera is in use. Now, here are the things we loved on the A139 that we wished VIOFO included in the T130. Overall, we felt the A139 had a better, solid build quality. It also had slightly better voice quality, it had thin coaxial cables for installation, and the IR was separated from the front camera, offering more flexibility in terms of placement. And lastly, the front camera can rotate up to 300 degrees. Compare that with the T130, where the front can only be rotatable up to 100 degrees. We hope you've enjoyed this T130 review video. If you have any questions about any features that you want us to cover in greater detail, be sure to drop a comment below and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Interested in purchasing the VIOFO T130? Be sure to use exclusive YouTube code BBMCTube to take 5% off your next purchase. Thanks for watching.